you like groovy podcasts hosted by inebriated people. That's Kai with the cracking voice and Heather's touched by evil. One thinks he's Spider-Man, the other is a ninja. It's the Man I Love Fun podcast, it's the MILFcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to another MILFcast mini edition. I am your host Kai, having a wonderful fucking day so far. I'm sure you can imagine why. Joining me as always is my lovely co-host Heather Baxendale. Say hello, Heather.
It is a wonderful day today.
Of course I can't see you. So there you are. For some reason you never appear in the beginning, and that's fine. Joining us tonight, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce her. No, Heather, why don't you introduce her?
Oh, everybody. I am very, very excited about our guest this evening. We had her back on the show when we were the Man I Love. I don't remember what it was called. What was it called, Kai?
Man I Love Films.
Thank you. We had Jeanette back on then, which was an absolute delight. But we have Jeanette Ward on tonight, who is one of my favorite movie people and people in general. Say hello, Jeanette.
Hello.
Tell us about yourselves and where we can find you.
Oh, already. Jeez, I'm on all the socials. You can find me on the Facebooks, on the Twitters, on the Instagrams, and newly on Twitch apparently. Hey.
Welcome. That's it.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
all of them.
Find her on the socials. You have to guess her name on the socials. But...
Sorry. Listen. Let me see, because they're all different. If I had been too old, Danny Glover doesn't let me social media correctly. If I had been paying attention, I would have ensured that I had the same username across all the platforms. But on Facebook, it's Jeanette.y.ward. On Twitter, it's Jeanette_y_ward. And then on Instagram, I think it's J.y.ward. And now on Twitch, it's Jeanette Ward. So listen, if you Google Jeanette Ward and it looks like this, chances are you got the right one.
I think that's fair. That's actually way more cohesive than anything that I do in general. I have like a list this long just of my login usernames. And let's not even go into my password.
Well, and I know a lot of people try to let me use a stage name for lack of a better term so that I can, but I'm just not that clever. So listen, it's Jeanette Ward.
Hey. I like it. It's you.
Well,
you're clever, so it works.
I tried to fix it and I screwed it up, and then
It's okay. Don't try to fix it. We're fantastic the way we are.
I think it looks pretty good.
I think it looks better without the yellow lines. That's all right. So I had a fuck all afternoon out of nowhere. I've had a rough week, and then today I was like, okay, it's 4 o'clock. I got time at 4:30. I'll grab the Ethernet cable. I'll go hook up. I'll get the second monitor because whatever reason I got a new monitor so we could have more screens available to us, and it literally just went down in the middle of the show last week because we have these technical problems all the time. For whatever reason, I brought the old monitor back in and it didn't want to work, and I was like at 10 minutes to showtime. And then in true Heather fashion, I get on, and we have a checklist of things to do. And I have to do a lot of stuff before the show starts. So I'll get on, I'll start doing the stuff, and Heather will play music and talk to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can't talk right now because I have to focus on all the things. And then Jeanette came on, and then they started having a conversation.
Sorry.
No, you guys don't have to apologize. I'm just explaining why it's difficult on my end. So I was like trying to get all this stuff ready and get on, and then they started talking, and then I just decided to kick back and listen to them talk for like 3 or 4 minutes. So we went like a few minutes extra over because they were having a good time until I had to rudely interrupt, and then I sound like dickhead dad at the dinner table, like, you guys need to shut up. We need to start the show.
No,
you didn't until just now.
Because otherwise we would have continued to chit chat. I feel like I don't know how long I've known. I've met both of you right around the same time, but I feel like I've known you guys forever. So it just very naturally falls into chit chat.
And we love you very much. We wanted to have you on sooner. Just the show was kind of sporadic, and we were just talking about how like you missed out by one spot to get into our game for the trivia thing. You were like the last one that didn't qualify. So we missed having you on that. So we're like, let's just have it on like a full hour.
Oh wow! All right, cool.
Yeah.
Also, notoriously bad at trivia games, so you probably made the right call.
So is everyone.
I know. I'm really, really bad at ours, and I used to do terrible on the Lamb, but lately I don't even come in last, so I'm pretty excited.
Depends on the category, right?
The Lamb, it's a podcast. It's the largest association of movie blogs.
They switch up the games a lot more now, so some of them I can slip into, and I'm much better with, and. Also,
it's a podcast for movie bloggers that Heather appears on.
Yes.
She never
because
gives,
I always tell stories out of context. I tell stories out of context.
Oh, context. Yes. Feel free to look up the large association of movie blogs, the Lamb.
Yes, it's a very great place. Our friend Richard Kirkham now hosts the show. He's lovely. We've had Richard on here for the Tournament of Champions, in fact.
The Lamb was started by old man Dylan 90 years ago when he was born.
Yes. Dylan is actually 97 years old
Yes.
now. He's 97. He's getting around pretty well. Yeah, but I've never even won like a movie of the month that I've submitted ever. And
It's a thing they do on the Lambcast. They submit movies every month, and someone gets chosen. Apparently, Heather has never been.
did recently go on the Ultimate Action Hero show though, and there was a big giant showdown with that.
I
and
have
I believe
no
I talked
context.
about.
I've never heard it through the show, so I can't give any context.
Actually, I just talked about this like 2 shows ago on our show, but you just don't listen to me, so it's fine. But
There's a lot of things being said right now.
but I had Arnie, and I think I
okay.
won. I
Yeah.
think I won. My whole argument for the show was, it's Arnie.
Right. Like,
I'll
is
give
there
you an
any
Arnie
other?
movie.
I've won movie of the month, I think, twice. The most recent being Mean Machine last.
Oh, I heard about that. I have not seen that.
Yeah,
I get
very
the
fun.
emails.
Yeah.
I get the emails.
I have submitted Independence Day for July. So if anyone would like to hear a lot of people talk about Independence Day in a very enthusiastic manner with me making up a game that will have something to do with the movie, head over to the Lamb and vote for Independence Day to be movie of the month for July.
I
Have they
will.
never done that one for July?
Honestly, that's why I sent it in. I was like, I'm sure this has already been, used for July. And Jay said no. So it's my submission.
That's insanity.
Crazy, right?
Independence Day is July.
Is July.
I love that movie too. I don't care how ridiculous it is. It's absolutely delightful.
Exactly.
I will support you, Jeanette. Everyone else in the chat, you should go to the Large Association of Movie Blogs. Just look that up on the Webster, the Googles. You can find it.
And
then
usually pops up as soon as you type in large association. I think it's like the first thing that comes up.
it is actually one of the first things.
It's not the first thing if you type large ass. So you really got to put that OCH.
No,
on
that's like
Make sure.
MILF and MILFcast too. You got to be a little careful.
Yeah, never Google image search MILFcast. The first one, or don't go beyond the first picture.
I'm telling you
It's
right now
interesting.
too. There is a large variation of friends of mine and probably family members that have never listened to the show or watched the show in the last 10, 11 years because of the title.
Honestly, when I started sharing it on Facebook, I was like, I wonder if anyone is going to ask me what this means.
That's why every time I put it anywhere, I always tagged it with the parentheses of also known as blah, blah, blah,
Yes.
so that it was never alone. But every now and then it comes through as just MILFcast. So,
No,
Either
well,
way, I
figure-
feel like, hey,
yeah.
by the way, the West Coast is in a meltdown heat wave where some areas are going to get up to 127 degrees, which feels pretty close to where I'm at right now. So if the collar of my shirt sinks down below my nipples and I sweat profusely through all this, please forgive me. I'm in the middle of Satan's asshole.
understood.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in the garage there. So
Shh.
that's
Don't tell
fun.
me where my cave is. I don't want people knowing that.
I had my air conditioner repaired today because it was all 90 degrees here last week, and then today it's a beautiful 74, and then it's supposed to be 90 again the end of the week. And listen, once it gets past 85, I cannot handle it. I panic.
What part of the country do you live in, Jeanette? Tell everyone.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. So you're up
Yes.
near Heather's.
Yes.
She gets crazy weird Midwest weather patterns like I do, but I believe she gets a considerable amount more snow. I think we both get frigid weather, but I think you get actually more snow.
Which
than we
side
do.
of Michigan are you on? You're closer to
Southeastern? Yeah, I'm really close to Detroit, but
Yeah.
most of the stuff.
So you don't
misses
get.
us.
I went to school in Holland.
Oh,
Right, Holland and that side gets all the lake effect snow.
The-
where if it's going to snow, it snows for 12 inches.
In
That's it.
Europe?
No, that's right.
yes, it's so close to Detroit. We're really great with geography.
That's
over
not a
here.
fun commute, but
Right. But yeah, so here we get a lot of snow, but not as much as we used to get.
Global
but
warming.
Certainly enough to keep me happy. I like the snow. I like having 4 distinct seasons, so I'm very,
too.
very happy with
Me
Milwaukee.
too.
Yes, beer and power tools. That's accurate.
Or Alice Cooper would tell you from
don't
Wayne's
mix
World,
those.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was going for, and he didn't spell it in a way to get the pronunciation right.
It is. It is.
I thought California is the only place on Earth. That's a very California thing to say.
It is that Kai is
also
constantly
agree.
shocked that other things exist in the world that don't exist in his Californian
All right,
culture.
question for the show. We've asked about everyone in the chat that we've had on the show. Jeanette, do you know what otter pops are?
Otter Pops. No, I do not.
Okay, so
See?
you guys just don't have them up there, and that's on you.
No.
No.
That's on you.
What
It's
are
a
they?
freeze pop, basically, Jeanette. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
ice
sure,
pops.
freeze pop.
Yeah, like ice pops, but they're called otter pops, and they're
Which,
in other
when we
places.
were young, everyone's freezer was full of those frickin' things.
Because you
My
got a box
freezers
that
are
came with
always
75 for
stocked with
$4.
Green.
When Mike
Green or
and I started,
purple?
when Mike and I started
Green's
dating,
good.
all of his friends would go right to my refrigerator or freezer and pull them out because they knew that I was always stocked with freeze pops. I still am. $3.99 for a bag of 50, and they're delightful.
Yeah, they are the best way to go when you've got a house full of people. See, I don't have them in my freezer. I have ice cream sandwiches in my freezer right now.
Those are good too.
Mhm.
I actually have some Spider-Man ice creams in because Adam wanted them today.
There you go.
Yeah, I got a picture of that. That was cool. It was like, get me out
He
of
was
your mouth.
very excited. He wanted me to tell you. He also, my 4-year-old, usually it's his bedtime ish when we start streaming the show. So sometimes he'll sit and watch on Mike's phone and watch the beginning of the cast. So today he tells me, I would like to watch the Heather and Kai show.
Bad idea.
And I said, well, it's on my computer and perhaps we can watch some of an episode later. He says, no, I would like to see it on your phone now. And I said, I don't have it on my phone. I actually don't have Twitch on my phone. I don't have a lot of those kinds of social apps on my phone. I try not to have anything. I have just Instagram. So he says, yes, you do, because I watch it on Dada's phone. So it's on his phone, so I should have it on my phone. I'm like, you're 4.
Who's
Get
in,
it
I was gonna
together.
say,
Who's
what
in
is-
charge?
How old is this child?
They're very advanced at this age. We're doomed,
at
everyone.
4?
Yes. Yeah, he was like, you can do this. I know you can. If he has it on his, you should be able to have it on
I
yours.
feel like 4 is when you set the precedent. If you let this go on for another 13 years, he's physically going to be able to like intimidate you.
yeah,
so
this
right
is
now,
my
kick him in the
third.
knees.
This is my third one. It's not like this is my first try and I don't know what's going on here. It's just interesting how
It
different
sounds
it
like
is.
it based on the way you're having this conversation, because it really sounds. If you took the
Well,
context,
Kai,
like
you should go have another kid right now
Sounds like
and
a
find out
horrible
what it's
idea.
like to have a child while you have all these technological advances. It's very interesting.
A, I'm slightly older, and B, no,
Yeah.
I like doing stuff,
Right?
So do I.
like staying home and doing nothing.
I was gonna say you go and do so much stuff. You're hanging out on Wednesday with me on the live stream and Jeanette.
It's a byproduct. So do you want to start the show now, or
Sure, let's start the show.
Oh, all right.
okay?
Or is this the show? I don't know.
I thought this was the show.
It's kind
No,
of
we have stuff we do every week, but again, you guys have been having a lovely conversation. I let it go. I don't care. I've given up today. Our housekeeping stuff. First of all, we got the MILFcast Awards are going to be on June 27th. Again, we're having DJ Sebastian and Oldman Dylan are going to come on and help us out. That is a night where we make up awards and give them to whatever we want. We used to give them to films, but we did it like the Oscars, just not traditional awards. We're a little irreverent. We come up with some weird shit, and then we award it to stuff. And we give the famous Unstoppable Award at the end of the night. We are taking next Wednesday off because Heather going camping. Heather got a camper. Heather going camping. Nobody's going to fucking stop her. So,
Nobody's gonna stop me from camping. It's just not gonna fucking happen.
Heather
You
gotta-
can't. You
what-
can't. I'm going. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go in the woods.
I bought a camper with a portable toilet. I'm still going to go poop in the woods. It's a thing we
Okay,
do.
I'm not pooping with people in the next room. It's just not
No,
happening.
you asked them to kindly leave the trailer. That is way less creepy than going out into the woods to crap. I'm sorry.
The fact that you think it's creepy to go into the woods to crap shows how devolved you are. It is the most natural place in the world to go take a poop.
Is it?
And it actually is. And squatting is actually, I'm gone. I don't know what's happening to me over here.
Yeah.
I'm digitalized. I'm joining DJ into the internet verse.
What's happening right now is the same thing that happened when we lost the stream last week. So get ready to say goodbye, and we'll be back in 60 seconds in about 5 minutes.
Okay. And someone brought
Oh,
a poop.
there you
Here
are.
we are
Yeah.
on poop again. We're on poop again.
Yep.
Yes. I am not going to do a twosie with someone that can hear me do a twosie. That's just not going to happen.
No,
It's not.
absolutely not.
I-
Everyone
I
needs to
will go
leave the
into
trailer.
woods with the bear, and it's fine. But Mike is bringing 2 generators now, and it's getting way too comfy in there for me, and it's going to kind of.
Okay,
said,
wait.
you know, if
So
it gets
point
too
of fact, with 2 generators running, if you set them strategically close enough to the bathroom, you could do whatever you want. Nobody's gonna hear anything.
No, they're really quiet. He's really excited about it.
You've kind of stepped this up to glamping, not necessarily.
I don't want to glamp.
Oh.
The fact that I'm not going to be in a tent is very exciting to me. But part of my joy is some of that disconnect.
It's really the same thing except mobile because you're not using a toilet. Really, the only thing with glamping is that there's no toilet.
Glamping is basically not
Hotel.
experiencing. Yes, it's a hotel in the woods.
Oh.
It's
not.
To me too.
It's in Coachella. They use teepees. They build teepees.
It doesn't matter. The
And that's not
comforts
really
in there is
glamping.
air conditioning and such. You're not really camping. You're not experiencing the wilderness.
I totally
That's
disagree.
the-
What's the
whole
definition
point.
of glamping?
You're in.
Glamorous camping.
Yes.
Okay, so they go on golf courses, but they stay outside in these luxury teepees that are like 20 feet tall.
What's the
How,
point?
how luxury.
It's Coachella, dude. Like it's come on, it's so douchebaggery. It's perfect.
It
for
is
that.
exactly that. There's chandeliers and such.
Yeah,
and
Bieber and
how
Efron
you-
are-
It's
All right.
basically King Theoden's tent in the Rohirrim with Rohirrim. It's magnificent. It's delightful. I don't want to go that route. I do want to
Gotcha.
get a little
It's
more
camping with
comfortable.
AC.
I understand.
I don't know if that's entirely. Hey, if the producers
like-
are
I'd like to
listening, can I
camp
get a
with
refill?
Theoden.
We had an accident before the show. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
I have a fancy drink today. It's just orange juice and Sprite and some maraschino cherries, but I'm sick and it makes
That's
me
still
feel better.
yeah, that's still pretty fancy.
So other things we got coming up. Heather's going camping, and then we may do a Tuesday show. We don't know yet. It's really going to depend on our schedules. If not, we'll be back on Sunday for the thing.
Mike actually has suggested that I try, because the first night we are going to be staying, we're going halfway up Michigan. We're going to go stay at my dad's lake house.
Oh,
And
like first base.
Yeah, we'll stop there for the night, and then we'll meet my brother and my nephew and my dad there, and Brosnan and his girlfriend. So we'll stay there for the night. And he just got, they're eventually retiring there, so they just got Wi-Fi and some other things. But I'm fairly certain the signal's still weak. Mike suggested that I try to stream from there. I'm like, you've seen the show, right? It's a big enough disaster most of the time.
Let me,
You want
let me not try to make it more difficult than it already is.
Like,
Although
I
that would be kind of entertaining, I have to admit.
that's what I said. I said it would be a dumpster fire. But
What
for
happened?
The fact that Kai would have a complete and utter meltdown with all of the technical things that would go wrong with it. So
Oddly, now that we're on, everything's going smoothly. The weirdest thing is that I only have you down here, so I can't look at my camera. So it just looks like I'm doing this the entire time. But other than that, it's actually going smoothly. I'm just a wreck.
thank you. Okay,
Right.
so speaking of down there, what is this weird thing going on around the internet about Batman going down on Catwoman?
Here's what the story is. According
Thank you,
to what
Jeanette.
I've read, according to the internet, and I found this on Twitter yesterday and was suddenly very invested in the story.
Just real quick, I want to talk about this because it is really funny. But like, we have a whole nother thing we do at the beginning, and Heather's just like,
Oh, sorry.
let's
See?
go on to Batman."
Come on, just get on with it then.
No, I think Batman going down on someone is important. Let's talk about it.
You're the one who brought it up.
I
Sort
was.
of. Yeah, you said something like going on down there, and
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Yeah, that's my bad.
The showrunners for the Hard R Harley Quinn animated series, which I think you can find on HBO Max.
But Kelly Kokukwa?
oh, it is on HBO Max. You're right.
Koa.
Yeah, so it's on HBO Max. They wanted to include a scene in an upcoming episode or season where Batman goes down on Catwoman, or Bruce Wayne goes down on Selena Kyle. I don't know that
It's kind of both happening at the same time.
right, but are they in costume? I think is the difference. But
and-
the DC exec said, "No, animated show, you can't do that," and their reason was, and I quote, "Heroes don't do that."
I disagree.
Which is why the internet was suddenly
I
abuzz
disagree.
about it, because I would venture to say heroes do that, non-heroes do not.
I would say for the men that are willing to go down, you should cue Foo Fighters every time they start. And just start playing heroes like right away.
Goes my hero.
Because you just think it happens like all the time, and I guarantee you there's a lot. I would say probably the majority of men don't.
Oh, I don't know. I guess that depends.
I'm
on
not saying count the however many you've been with and do the math. I'm saying in
I'm
general,
not
like your dad,
saying that. I'm
your
thinking
dad's
about
friend
myself,
Stu,
my lady friends, and otherwise, and
Yeah.
just kind of thinking about it.
that guy Rich that
Personal
works with your
experience
mom.
aside, the internet was abuzz with whether or not Batman would. And I think
Of course, he's the most
Superman would
Batman's-
not. I will guarantee you Superman would not. Batman 100% would and do it well.
Superman
Batman
has several
would
issues.
definitely do it well.
Right?
Batman definitely would.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want Superman to. I'd be like, no, thank you, sir.
I don't want
places
any
to
part of
be.
that.
No, not interested. No. Batman, yes, Batman or Bruce Wayne, either or would
Bruce
be
Wayne.
down for the good time.
100%. Bet
And
you
I think
is
he would be very skilled. I feel like in general he
very
would be
skilled
a very,
and like took the time to study to become skilled.
And
He's
maybe,
one, like, good at it.
maybe built some things to help.
he would be generous. He'd
generous,
be very generous,
patient.
thoughtful.
Absolutely. So
Confident.
that was my take on what was happening on Twitter yesterday. Yes, it was. It was a
Lil
bit of a-
Donut Ice in the chat says Bruce Wayne is a billionaire playboy. He has to.
right?
Yes.
No,
On the right
actually, the
path there.
billionaire Playboy does not have to. If anything, he could play the antithesis of that and not do it. But when he's really Batman, he would do it because, like, that whole Christian Bale Batman Begins thing. But I just think he's so philanthropic and a giver in general.
He is. Oh, CP2 Devil has a great point. He definitely would build some sex toys.
Yeah.
Where does he get those wonderful toys?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
He'd peel two elements out of his bat belt and, like, mix them together and create some hot, cold ointment thing to enhance the spirits that was also peach flavored.
Yes, peach flavored.
Some household chemicals in the proper proportions.
Yeah,
There we go. Thank you,
Yes.
Bert.
yeah. It was an interesting trending topic, and I enjoyed. I like when the internet gets real funny and is clever, and there was a lot of clever and funny responses that were certainly well worth the read, and just the how can I put this? The old man white nonsense of DC execs being like, heroes don't do that. Like, oh,
Yes, it is the wrong
Fuel your
response. The humor is the
reaction.
response. The funny thing is, I read this article and I literally went, "Huh, that's lame," and turned it. And meanwhile, the internet went insane. Like, it's just
right, exactly. It's not really something that everyone needs to get fired up about, but what a fun topic to get fired up about.
I like it. I liked it a lot. And I liked seeing and I only caught the back end of it today. I saw it pop up a few times, but I was actually working, so I didn't have time to stop and actually start going down the rabbit hole. But actually, while I was waiting for Kai and that kind of thing, I was going, okay, I need to find out what the hell this is all about. And then I thought, well, Kai loves Batman. Jeanette loves nerdy things too.
I do.
Perhaps you both would know.
Well, and I have to say, like, sure, part of Batman's, and this is where you can do a deep dive into the Batman and the psyche of Batman. I have a very surface level understanding. My Batman is the 90s animated Batman, so Kevin Conroy is my Batman. But knowing that Batman is yes, billionaire playboy, Bruce Wayne is the mask, right? Bruce Wayne is the disguise.
Yes,
but
thank
in
you.
order to maintain the Bruce Wayne disguise, like he's going through supermodels left and right.
Yeah.
So maybe with them, you don't need to put a lot of effort in. But the scene was between him and Selena Kyle, which
which is where he would let his guard down
can buy
depending
that
on
they're
what part of the
kinda
universe you're in.
soulmates.
Yeah.
Right, kind of soulmates in this context. They really are into one another. I feel like for sure she would expect it, and for sure he would deliver.
Just okay, and if we're going to even specifically like think of a Catwoman that had, well, I mean, so many of them have been amazing, but just think of Michelle Pfeiffer, and just think of her going, meow. Please, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
And then
not a person on this planet.
wait, and then cut to reality.
now.
Cut to reality. She
I'm
unzips
in- I'm
that
in my reality.
Plynal suit that she's been wafting in for days.
I don't care.
I think you might.
It's still Michelle Pfeiffer, even in a
Okay,
leather suit.
you've been dating
Yes.
2 years.
I would chew it off. Okay, I'm no holds barred.
Okay, in the
I would
beginning,
chew
yeah, but
it
now,
off
okay,
and
now
I-
it's been 2 years, and she's like a fruit roll-up. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so
Yep,
it's been 2
fine.
years now, and she's been a kind of a bitch lately. She's not listening to you. She tells you to pick your shit up all the time. Now she's saying it.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah.
No, now
That's
you made it a
interesting.
relationship and took all the
You're-
sexy out of it, and it's not fun.
I took
Does a man's desire to go down on a woman decrease over the time and then length of the relationship?
Or, as Kai put it, pretty much asking him to take the trash out.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said at all. That's not what I said at
A
all.
little bit.
No, I don't know that it goes down. I just think I think all relationships have a certain zealousness to them in the beginning that loses over time. It doesn't mean you don't maintain a healthy fervor for one another. But like in the beginning, it's like all day, every second, all I can do. And sometimes like after a couple years, you're like, I just need 10 minutes to myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's completely healthy.
Perfectly natural.
So Selena Kyle, I don't know. Never mind. Go ahead, Heather.
No, I was very. I was just listening to what you had to say, Kai.
What are the other things you like to do at the top of the show?
Yeah. What else do we like to do at the top of the show?
Figure out what's burning. Something sounds like it's burning. It's probably California wildfires.
It's coming out of your ears, Kai.
Right.
Yeah, probably. Oh, Heather does the socials.
Oh yeah, I do the socials. Well, we kind of just did the socials. Actually, we did have one yesterday, and this was another one that wasn't as overwhelming in one direction or the other that I thought. I decided to do 2 Western TV shows that were really good, more critically acclaimed than huge on the TV and the following. But Deadwood versus Hell on Wheels. Which Western do you think is better or prefer? So in the chat, if you've seen Hell on Wheels, it is absolutely and utterly fantastic. It was on AMC. I think it's streaming on Twitch or not Twitch. It's streaming. Anson Mount.
Anson Mount.
Yeah, he's Captain Pike now, I believe, on Discovery.
Yes, I still think of him as
Bohannon.
Blackagar Boltragon from the short-lived Inhumans.
It's so strange to see him as a pretty boy too in anything. He was on an episode of Dollhouse, and I was watching that, and he was on a heist episode.
He was on an episode of
Such a pretty
Smallville
boy.
where he was someone's stalker boyfriend. I'm sure Lannis, because everyone was Lannis' stalker boyfriend on Smallville. I forget if that's who it was or not, but he definitely was like a scary psycho guy on an episode of Smallville.
Good. I can see him.
Everyone was on an episode of
Scary.
Smallville. It was on for 10 years, so everyone was.
Yeah, it did. run
Amy
for a
Adams,
long
let's
time.
not forget. Amy Adams played a girl who ate people.
On
That's
Smallville?
beautiful.
I won't let her forget. Yes,
And
season 1.
and still became Lois Lane?
Yes, what are the odds?
Very small.
The
That's
worst
delightful.
Lois Lane.
Feels very small.
Well, in any case, it was Hell on Wheels versus Deadwood, which Deadwood falls into my top 5 TV shows of all time. I'm madly in love with it, so I'm partial to it. But I also have a great deal of love for Hell on Wheels. So I was just curious what other people's opinions were. And for the most part, everyone was in the corner of Deadwood, which I anticipated. But there was actually a lot of love and support for Hell on Wheels, so I was excited because
Didn't want to include young riders in there. That's fine.
I
I get
haven't
it. I get
seen
it,
that,
Heather.
and
I
it's-
get it.
and it's a this or that. It's a
Okay,
this or
all right,
that.
all right.
So it's one or the other.
We call it a black sheep.
And we get one every Tuesday. And you know, if you guys ever want to have something posted, I think I'm going to do something for CP Devil next month on one of our death matches. Just email me, message me, or tell me you want to submit something for one of our social things, and I'll do it because I like you guys. Oh, Adam's going to bed. Good night, Adam.
Adam is Heather's
Big
son.
sleeps. Yes, we covered that at the beginning of the show.
Did we though?
There was context.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about it. You were saying what a bad mother I was.
Oh, is that better? Does everyone see me better? I said you're a bad. No, I didn't say you're a bad mother. I said that
I don't
it
think-
sounded. Yeah, I didn't say that. I feel like my words are being twisted tonight.
I think you're having a hard time today, Kai.
I'm having
Are
a very
you
rough week. Very rough week.
It's
It's
too
okay.
hot out there. That's the problem.
It's too hot, and
Are you seeing the penguin?
I'm borderline there. You know, they're reopening too. I've had to introduce myself back into society. I think there's a little like, which I'm not terrified of, and I'm fine with because it's very minimal. But like, it is kind of all a little shocking, and I think it's all having like little subtle effects on us emotionally and things. We're dealing with stuff coming out of COVID that we've been dealing with for years and a half, like a year and a half. So
Yes.
yeah, I think it's been a little bit rough on me this week, to be honest. Not in a weird way. I just like I noticed myself like a little crankier and grumpier this week, and it's probably because I had to re-enter society to a certain extent.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think that's completely natural.
I think the reemergence from the pandemic is adding a whole new level of social anxiety to the cornucopia of social anxiety that existed previously. So, yeah.
I'm definitely dealing with what I would call the summer blues. It happens every year, and it's usually around May. And people are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, next weekend." I'm like, "I can't do anything. The summer's already gone." And I loved last summer because there wasn't that. There was,
Yes.
well, we actually have some breathing room.
Last summer felt so long and beautiful.
It was wonderful. It really, really was.
But it's like
And
it's like a huge pendulum swing too, because at the same time you're also wondering, are we ever going to go back to normal? How long is it going to be like this? I hated the first few months because it was like, is this going to be 2 weeks or 18 months? Mm-hmm. Like there was no way to like get comfortable in your shoes until like I think about 2 or 3 months in, we started going, okay, this is not changing for quite a while. Mm-hmm. So we can just.
I went in with that attitude from the start because I knew that planning for the long haul, that's just how I plan anyway. I think it's a trauma response, to be honest. But I immediately
how do you plan? How do you
planning.
plan for it when you don't know what's going to happen? I think that was the up and down nature of the beginning. Like when I got sent home initially, it was like, we're going home for 2 weeks. Because that's all it'll take to kill this thing.
I knew it wasn't going to be 2
right.
weeks. I was worried that things were going to get way more chaotic, and I watched too many movies, and I was thinking martial law, and I was thinking of people rioting and freaking out and that kind of thing, and I'm
Storming
like, am I going to have to board up my windows? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that happened just a little later than anticipated. My concerns weren't about necessarily the length of having to stay at home and do the distancing and all of that. It was all of the other factors. But I think that reality is very different for everybody too, which is why this reemergence is probably great for some people. And then for some of us, it's definitely.
Well, I think I was ready to do it. I was expecting it to be a little slower paced, and it feels like suddenly everything's open, go. Yeah. And I certainly am not ready for that.
Yes.
So I've been trying to be very, very cautious. I think we have an advantage. My dance troupe, we teach out of our studio, and we were lucky enough to not lose the studio last year. Most other like small dance troupes that had their own studios did end up losing their studios over the course of the pandemic because it's just business. There wasn't any. So we started teaching classes back in the studio in October. And so we've kind of had that, we did like 6-foot boxes on the floor. Everybody had to be masked, sanitized, temperature checks, everything. So we, as safe as we possibly could. And so now we're starting to like, okay, you can be a little closer together, still wear your masks unless you're vaccinated. But if you want to so I'm just still wearing my mask and, that kind of thing. I expected that pace everywhere.
Yeah.
No one else is using that pace. We went out to dinner my friends and I, last week for the second time trying to go back out to dinner and, wearing your mask going in. And then when you get in the restaurant, slowly being like, okay, I guess I can take this off now. Most of the staff was still wearing masks and they had, the tables were kind of spread out. So I felt like, okay, I think we're all right here. And we, trying to get back to normal. But I think I could use a bit of a slower paced rollout, a more gentle rollout than get back to it.
I absolutely agree. I think they're definitely needed. It was kind of the same here too. I think it was like a 2-week flip. Kai actually just asked me on Sunday, he's like, so what's going on in Michigan? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. It just seems like everybody just suddenly is doing everything.
Whatever
and I noticed it immediately, like on Facebook when I started seeing all the events opening up and then even today in the grocery store and everybody's packed. Like, why do you have to be so close to each other in line? You're not going any faster because you're closer to each other.
Oh my God.
Not making the line go faster. Stop
love
it.
Social distancing. It's my favorite thing. My friend always says, you have a very large personal space bubble. Yes, I do. You know what works really well for that? Enforced social distancing.
You stay right there. If I can touch your hand, your outreach hand, you're too close. That's how big my personality is.
100%. The other thing that we learned when we started traveling for dance, especially internationally, is that's kind of a natural Midwest Great Lakes thing, is that we have space here. So we're used to space. We're used to a greater distance, stores, et cetera, et cetera. If you go to New York, LA, Chicago, anywhere in Asia, a lot of places in Europe, they're just used to being closer together. And so for us, when we start traveling, we're like, what is happening? Why are they so close? I can't handle this. So but it's the acknowledgement, okay, so it's different cultural norms. We can handle that. But now, I just want everyone to stay, just stay a little bit distance from me. That's fine. We're cool.
Yep.
Working on it. I'm going to keep wearing listen, once I got fully vaccinated, I was like, woo, head back to the movie theater. That was my big thing. Get me vaxxed so I can get to the movie theater. That's all I want. Just let me
really? Because I'm I'll pay $30 to watch that shit at home because it costs me $80 to take my family.
Okay.
I miss
and I don't
the
gotta
theater.
put shoes on.
reacting with a crowd. I miss that.
I don't. I only do the big blockbusters
The
with
big
crowds.
budget. Yes.
Yeah, those I do with the crowd. Otherwise, the movies that I go see by myself since I was 16, I've been going to matinees or morning shows so I could be by myself.
Sure.
And still,
Sunday
even
morning.
then, you always have the rando guy that has to come sit either right in front of you or
God, yes.
right next to
Which is
you. And
popcorn.
chew his popcorn loud. Yep, all of those things. And there'll be 5 people in the theater, and they'll all be right around me.
I will never forget. I went to see one of the Twilight movies alone. Please don't judge me. I went alone and got in there, sat in. I like to sit if I'm there alone, and it's not a 3D movie. I like to sit on the edge, first row off the aisle, so not the floor seat. Stadium. I only go to stadium seating. First row up, on the railing, on the edge.
Yeah.
The whole theater's empty. Somebody else came in, sat immediately in front of me. And I'm like,
it's herd mentality. So part
and
of me
then,
thinks it's
then
trolling.
she turns around and goes, "This movie, huh?" And I was like, "No." Stood up, walked across the theater, sat further away. No, I'm not there to talk to people.
No, I don't want to. I do enjoy the experience with the big crowd for like Star Wars and that kind of thing. And
Any
it's
MCU
wonderful.
movie. I saw Tenet last summer and was like, I needed to see Tenet with a crowd.
No,
there were
no, you didn't need to see Tenet.
I liked it.
Which part?
I've had it sitting in my queue in HBO Max, and I keep looking at it going,
I purchased it.
I will get there.
I liked the part that made me realize, hey, maybe Robert Pattinson is okay.
Oh, see, I realized that because of some of the other like indie films he's done. He's actually had a really good indie career.
Listen,
I was more like Denzel Washington's kid kicks ass.
Yeah.
I've read enough about it that I'm interested in. It actually sounds like it's my cup of tea.
Well, and Elizabeth Debicki, right? Exactly how many extra vertebrae does she have in her neck? Because it's far too long. And Kenneth Branagh doing an evil Russian accent, always entertaining.
Oh, totally unnecessary. Yes, but entertaining.
So unnecessarily
totally
wonderful,
unnecessary and very entertaining.
They should have just got Nick Cage. Do the same accent.
You could walk out of every movie and say that.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 whether you can take Nick Cage seriously, though. He has the ability to be a wonderful
not in a Fast
actor.
and Furious movie?
I have no fucking idea.
What
is wrong with them? Why has he not been in one of those movies yet? I get that you wanted to put Kurt Russell in one, but oh my God, why wasn't that Nick Cage? Guys, you're missing out.
Oh,
I think that's actually true. Of all the blockbusters to throw him in at this point, he's
That
actually
would
had
totally
like a
fit in it.
stellar bullshit B movie career.
He has, and he seems
stellar.
perfectly happy doing it.
Every
He does.
bullshit. I've
That's
watched
exactly
5
it,
of his
Jeanette. I
B
think
movies
he's happy.
recently. He is so fucking dedicated. He's fucking amazing in them.
I pick up. I'll toss one on every here and there, and one will be absolute horrendous stuff, and then I'll watch one again, and I'll go, "Wow, this was actually like Joe." I think it was Joe. That
Joe
caught me
was
completely
good.
off guard. That was really
Joe
good.
was a theater lover movie. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking Willy's Wonderland. I'm talking what's the one where he,
I have
like,
Willy's
a
Wonderland
Primal.
sitting there waiting. I can't
Go
wait
watch
for Willy's
Primal. He
Wonderland.
just did some shit about these warrior ninjas, and he's like a ninja dude, and it's weird as fuck.
I saw that too. Most of them end up, at least I see them just pour onto Netflix. Now, see, and that's the thing about Nick Cage. I'll watch some of his when I see those with like John Travolta and other actors. I'm like, no.
The new one is Bruce
Not doing
Willis.
that, Johnny.
The new one's
Sorry.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis is
Bruce Willis is
doing
doing
a lot
them
of,
too.
direct. That's got to just be killing him. His grumpy old man attitude.
totally.
He's got to be very upset. Whereas Nick Cage seems very happy, like boom, boom, movie a week, boom, boom, instant DVD action.
I
feel like Bruce
Sam
Willis is like,
Jackson.
rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
I just saw
I
one. It
feel
was
like-
in space. It was him and Frank Grillo, and I was like, "This is Die Hard on a space station."
Frank Grillo deserves better than that.
He does. He's done a lot of B movie shit too, but he's done some good ones too.
The one that he dropped on Hulu, the
Boss Level.
so good,
Boss Level's badass. That's a Carnahan film.
so good.
I haven't watched that yet.
If you like the Gray, they reteamed.
Oh, then I will. That's magical.
Yeah, well, and really, it kind of finally gives Frank Grillo maybe the center stage he's been needing, and it's custom made for him, and it feels fantastic.
I do like the streaming platforms for that though, where they do have the straight to them, so you can have easier access to them.
100%.
Whereas,
And accessibility to content maybe I wouldn't have otherwise gotten to. I watched Synchronic last Friday.
Seen it? Seen it?
See, I using the website doesthedogdie.com, which I will continue to hype. Everyone use the website doesthedogdie.com. Because as soon as the movie started and I saw he had a dog, I was like, whoop, better check and see if that dog's gonna make it.
Do they have one of those for emetophobes?
Yes, it's all on the doesthedogdie.com is not just about dogs. They have a list of like 38 different questions.
So if I don't
and
want to
yes,
see puke, I can find out there?
that is in there.
Okay, good.
Fantastic.
That is on the
That's
list.
important.
So it starts with does the dog die? Then it's does the cat die? Does any animal die? Is there? And then it goes deeper. Like, is there
There's-
any abuse?
you
Is
know
there,
there's
like,
dumb people on there,
is
like,
there clowns? Is there
there's-
cutting? Is there everything you need to know? So I highly recommend. Please use that website.
There's
it is
dumb people
crowdsourced.
on Does the Dog Die Googling, putting pet cemetery in there. And I find that hilarious.
Fair enough.
I did have to. I used it for Synchronic, and I was glad that I did because I just skipped that part. Because again,
Well-
streaming service, I was like, boop, boop, boop. All right, good to
Does
go.
the dog die in that? I thought, no, the dog gets
dog
left
gets
behind.
Left behind in a very emotionally manipulative and devastating way. And I was like, I don't need to see this, Mackie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's
I
racism
struggle with-
involved.
With
Some
those
old South
two.
stuff.
Yes, I also skipped that.
Ooh.
I don't need to see that either.
Rape
Thank you.
too. I think Kai has issues with rape in film, so that
Yeah, I
would be
don't
good
like
for
rape.
you.
That's on
Kai.
there. That's
Yep.
on the list.
Yep, I have eyeball stuff. I don't like seeing
That's on there,
anything done
too.
to people's eyeballs.
I don't-
That's,
I don't
one
want
that I
teeth.
can't
There's
handle.
a teeth thing where like it is something happened to someone's teeth and you can. So
That
Oh.
is actually really wonderful.
Is there
it's a
anything-
great website.
wait, real
Everyone
quick.
use the website.
I
is-
put it in the chat for everybody, so if you'd like to go check it out, I
Yep.
put it in the chat.
Is there
It
anything
is
about
the
heroes
best.
going down on other people? Because I've told
I
don't wanna see that.
About like are there sexual situations? So I think that would be.
involving
would be
superheroes.
part
Can you
of it.
specify? Can you put tags on it?
Is there suicide or are there self-harming? For me, that's a big issue. So I'm very grateful that's on there. And so
Yes.
yeah, it is a great.
Does
website.
that lump in tattoos?
I don't think they mentioned that.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good.
I had it just made me think of, screening something for yourself or for a friend or your kids. A friend of mine, and this is only like a year or so ago, she was asking about some video games for her son, and her two boys are the same age as Allie and Brosnan, so they were like 15 and 17 at the time. And they're Christian and they're very reserved about some of the things they do. But some parents, as Kai and I will sometimes go, some parents are more reserved on violence and some are more on sex.
Mm-hmm.
Like I one of the few movies that I didn't let Brosnan see till he got older was Deadpool. And I
Okay.
didn't let him watch Game of Thrones until he was older and a few things like that. I'm much more lax on violence because the kids play video games. So it's there.
Mhm.
And they've watched me play a lot of violent video games since they were younger too. So she was asking me about Grand Theft Auto. She'd let them play Call of Duty. And I was finally getting around to GTA 5, which I'd had sitting there for years. And my husband had bought for me, but I hadn't played. And I was just going through the campaign. I'm like, this is so much fun. Why did I wait so long to play it? Which is what I often do with games. And she was texting me going, I think I'm going to get this for him, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, you know what? If you're okay with the violence, it really is just gregarious violence. So it's fine. And then all of a sudden I get to a scene where I'm doing some paparazzi job and I'm videotaping this guy on a tennis court banging this woman, and it's pants down and it's just raw humping over the nets. So I hurried up and grabbed my phone and I recorded
humping
it as
over
it
the
was
nuts?
happening. And I over the tennis net.
Oh.
And I sent it to her and said,
Nuts. I heard nuts.
if this is okay for you, this happens in a scene. So, but aside from that, I think that was the only like really, really bad sex scene in it. But yeah, after that, she was like, no, I'm not getting that for them.
Right. But see, isn't that the advantage of having a friend like you who can tell her, like, hey, no. Mm-mm.
Yes. It was really funny though. It was totally inappropriate, but it was
I
quite
will say
hilarious.
that always comes there. I don't do a ton of gaming, and I prefer like the adventure games. I don't do a ton of first-person shooters, but I did play several God of War games, and inevitably in each one, there's like a fairly hardcore sex scene in each where you have to. It's like a mini game because you have to do it correctly in order to rebuild strength and gain extra like XP and things.
You have to have sex correctly?
Yes, you have to like push a button and then you have to. It's one of those where you have to also make like so. It is crazy. And it's so, like, you're never prepared for when you see commercials for God of War. You're like, Kratos is going to do this to get his family. I don't know.
Wait, if I play
does.
God of War, it cuts to first person, I control the sex game?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to have to buy that.
Am I wrong? Someone else must have played God of War and is not been surprised. Like,
the only reason I haven't is I think it's PlayStation only, or it used to be.
Which is all I have. Yeah.
Yes, and I do Xbox here, so I've never experienced it. And I know that Christopher Judge does Kratos' voice, so I've always wanted to play it just for that reason alone. And I've heard it's one of the greatest games of all time too. So I'm very jelly, but for that reason alone too, that sounds very
fun. I mean, it's very entertaining.
because most games, like even in Witcher or even in Mass Effect, the sex scenes are usually just cut scenes, and some of them are a little more raunchy, but you're basically just watching some CGI people get their funky monkey on.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're a little tee-hee, but it's not exciting. This sounds a little exciting.
It's worth checking out.
I just might use the Googles later and see what's up.
The Googles. Google that up.
Let me Google that up.
Yeah,
everyone.
Let's see, what have I been playing?
I could just get straight porn and I'm still going to go look at that. I still need to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and talk about video games for a minute. I will be directly back. Please excuse me.
So, well, I'm actually going through right now the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Okay.
And I'm almost done. It's only taken me like a month to do it because of life and whatnot. But I'm getting towards the end of the game. And in each game you get to have like one romance. And I've played, this is I think my 11th playthrough of the entire trilogy. So I do it once a year. I do it once a year, and I've done it a couple times a year. Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite game. Nice. But I tend to do the same romances because I feel like I've developed these relationships with everybody else, and I have the context of friendship, and I can't get that out of my head. And I'm like, Mike was asking me, he's like, so you've never hooked up with Garrus? I'm like, no, he's my best bro. Why would I do that? I can't do this. And then people are like, why haven't you hooked up with this character? Like all these crazy things happen. And I go, and I'm really curious. I want to see, like, one of them is someone who's in an alien suit and you never get to see what they look like. And they're supposed to be super hot. So now I'm just like, I should probably just go Google
Expand
it and
your
see.
Horizons.
Yes. Well, I don't want to.
Okay.
I do, but I don't. I don't want to betray my lovers. And sometimes I'll
That's very admirable.
Thank you. I don't do that in other games either. It's just this game. I just get so emotionally invested in it. But yeah, so I'm thinking about
that is not one I have played. My kind of waiting on the new Arkham games that are out of the Arkham series because I love those. There's I think one coming out that's Batgirl and Nightwing centered. You'd have to. E3 is supposed to be either happening this week or next week or whatever. I'm assuming we'll get
I thought it already happened. Breadbug, if you're still in, will you let us know? Oh, Breadbug said that she is coming back. Breadbug was actually filling me in on some of the E3 stuff because I apparently missed it.
I was supposed to go pick up my pre-order of the Lego Star Wars Anakin Skywalker Saga. But that has been delayed again, and they were like, well, we'll probably get a date after E3. So I'm like, okay, well, fine. It's been delayed like so many times, whatever. But yeah, so the new Arkham games are not, because, after the last Arkham Knight?
Yes.
Yeah, because Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight. Arkham City was kind of my favorite so far. I did like Arkham Knight as well. So good. But yeah, the new one, I forget what the name is going to be, but it's not Batman-centered. It's got some other stuff happening, and then I think they're doing a Suicide Squad one that's by the same people or a similar vein that's a little more like that. So I like those a lot, and the Spider-Man game, the PS Spider-Man games that are similar, where you get to open world in the city, and then you have mission, side mission, random skill checks, etc. So the Spider-Man game I loved, and then the Miles Morales spinoff, which
speaking of side mission, I really love Batman Arkham City, which I feel like was the basis for Spider-Man. That's why I like Spider-Man. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm totally in agreement. I loved Arkham City. Yeah.
I'm really pissed. I bought PS4 just to play Spider-Man. Had it in my room, got it, started playing it. Arkham City is one of my favorite games. I started playing it. It's just like it. I loved it. Spider-Man's obviously like my favorite person in the world. My son took the game and just started playing on my account and like went like 9 levels up, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
No.
So I haven't
Then
gone back.
Restart. Oh, same.
I didn't want to go through the first 2 levels again.
I feel like the Arkham games, especially, very high replayability.
Yes.
And I think the Spider-Man games do too, because you can always, because of the open world idea in the city, you can kind of choose which way to go and how to do it and fill out the different. I love the Miles Morales one is fantastic too. So if you haven't done that one yet, get that one too. You'll like it.
Gotta get that one.
I know the big thing was like, oh, it's for PS5, but also they released it for PS4, and it's equally as amazing. So
I'm not hearing good things about the PS5 and the new Xbox.
well, there you go. Just buy your Miles Morales Spider-Man for PS4.
Yeah, and
Usually with any new console anyway, I know a lot of people are like, I gotta get it the first day it comes out. I usually wait a good 6 months to a year.
See,
Give them time to get any bugs out.
Yeah, I got the Xbox One when it came out, and it was just rife with bugs. So I'm never doing that again.
And I have ran into very minimal. I still have my 360 hooked up upstairs, and that thing is like 11, 12 years old. And I have played more hours on it than I think I've played on.
That's all you need. If that's what's making me, I was at the point where I was buying a new PlayStation every time a new Mortal Kombat game came out. Like when I had to get a new PlayStation to get a new Mortal Kombat game, that's what I was doing.
Indeed.
But sorry,
they're
Oh, now you can see me.
There we go.
So yeah, that was kind of my deal. It's so if they have a new Mortal Kombat game for the PS5, that will be when I have to get a PS5. But for right now, I'm fine with my PS4. Thank you.
And most of the newer games too, they're being smart because they know that a lot of people aren't going to buy the new consoles right away, and so they've been making them backward compatible, which is that's just good business, and that's what they should continue doing.
They ought to all be backwards compatible. It's so annoying when they're not.
Yeah.
But I will say I keep playing Star Wars Battlefront 2. Like I'm not good at it. But I keep playing. I like to play that.
See, I played the shit out of Battlefront 1 and then sporadically with Battlefront 2.
Walker Assault, my favorite thing on Battlefront 1.
I still put in my 360 Battlefront 2 and play that. And it's buggy as hell now, but I still love to play it. It is one of my favorite games.
Do you guys dig the 1-Up games? Have you seen the 1-Up like arcade retros?
No.
Okay, so you can buy these things. They're called 1-Ups. They're like reproduction. They're mini, but not mini. So it's like you buy like a 4-foot tall, basically like if you were going to an arcade version of an old arcade game.
Yeah.
And then you can actually buy a stand to make it 6 foot tall, and then they like actually sell stools with like replicas of the logo of whatever game you're buying. So I actually have one of the Marvel ones that's got like Gesundheit.
Bless you.
I'm sorry.
Do we have a cough button? Doesn't cover sneezes.
I'm so sorry.
So I actually have the Marvel Capcom one that has the Punisher game. It's got Marvel vs. Capcom. It's got something else. It's like actually really fun. But they came out with like the Ninja Turtles. There's the old school Pac-Man, NBA Jams, like and they just came out with the old Star Wars arcade game, which actually has the built-in seat. I don't know if you guys remember the old Star Wars.
Yes, vaguely.
Yeah, vaguely. That was one of my favorite games to go play at Disneyland. They had Tron and Star Wars, the video game, which you put like 75 cents in, and you literally played 60 seconds before you died. It was awesome. Like Dragon's Lair. You could never beat it if you had $1 million.
I like that you can buy it that way too, and is this all multiple games on it?
I think so.
Okay.
Right?
So mine has like 3.
Okay.
I do.
Because
wait,
that's much more appealing.
The cat that is on the floor to your right what is said cat's name?
Mad Mardigan.
Middle-aged old man.
He'll be here. He'll come see here.
Not a Tron fan. CP2 Devil. That's fine. The game was fun. You got to actually play like the
light cycles.
You got to do the light cycles. You got to do the disc throw. The light cycles were hard. Like you're like, I got this. I'll trap this dude. And then nope.
You can get, and that's one of the things too that you can download, and a lot of times they'll have them for free with like Xbox Game Pass. Is you can get a lot of those old arcade games. I have the original arcade Ninja Turtles, which is so much fun, and I have Golden Axe. If anybody's played, I have all 3 of them. And I think it's like, you can most of these for like $5 to $10. Sometimes you can download some of them for free. Like I almost want to get Altered Beast just so I can hear.
The cool thing about the 1-Ups is like, so they have the old Ninja Turtle game, and it's got the 4 joysticks. Like 4 people can play at once next to each other on the arcade machine.
Fun.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I love that idea.
I love that all of this like stuff that's coming out now is so appealing to all of our childhood nostalgia, and it's it's
Well, right, because it's the
it's
people
so
who
delightful.
now grew up with it are now in charge of making stuff. It's why some of this could devolve into a longer discussion. It's why like The Mandalorian and things are so good because we finally have actual fans making content.
Yes.
True, but why
Yes.
didn't our parents do that? They were just like so repressed. I mean,
I don't know. I think part of it
I
is
think they did, but some
accessibility,
of their
too.
stuff wasn't as good. And yeah, the platforms available for making content are more available and more widespread and more accessible and inclusive and easier to get noticed. So you can be someone who's making great content at home and you have a higher chance of getting spotted by someone who can take that to a larger platform now than you did previously.
Yeah, even on Instagram, I've been watching Donald Faison. He does all these like great little stop motion Star Wars little bits, and sometimes they're only like 30 seconds, but they're so delightful.
See?
And I'm going, oh, this was just something he loved to do as a kid, and you know he's doing things in the
That's
world now.
amazing.
He's an actor, and that's what he's doing because that's what his little side passion is. And there are people like me that love it. So I just think I love it. I think that stuff is wonderful. Yeah, that gives me happy.
The
all the time.
options for entertainment right now are endless.
I mean, look at He-Man coming out next month. I'm
Right?
so excited.
oh yeah,
about
can I share something real quick? My wife.
No.
All right.
Now you know why I
Yes.
love her,
Yes.
guys.
Please, Kai, please share it.
My wife bought me a gift.
Oh, I saw this.
Wow. Is that the original one? Oh my God, I remember that.
I'm so jealous of it. I
it's
really
the,
am.
It's the they do it's a retro reissue, but it's like extremely like.
Look.
It
at
looks the same.
that.
So
Come on.
let me walk you guys through this a little bit real quick. So,
You
Every
need
day after
Tila.
school, I feel like I would get home from school and watch He-Man and She-Ra.
So it came with this exclusive
It
character.
was my life.
What does it come with? What is it called? Special edition Temple of the Dark Sorceress. So it comes with a special character.
Oh.
It's got Lord. As it falls apart of it, it's
Sorceress. Well, she never really left there, so that's where she should be.
Right?
It's got your favorite '80s thing, the elevator / drawbridge.
Dude, that was the coolest thing ever. My neighborhood friend, he lived around the corner from me. Johnny had it, and I used to play over his house, and he didn't have, I think, any of the action figures other than Skeletor. So I just drove Matchbox.
That's funny.
cars.
I bought Skeletor just to go with this. That's the only one I bought. And you like you move the throne, and the trap door opens up, like because every cool thing, like Ewok Village had a trap door when you were a kid.
Yep.
So yeah,
That's what I was thinking about. Ewok Village and the trapdoor. Yep.
it's very cool.
I'm so excited that you actually took it out of the box too. Will you play with it, Kai?
I opened Skeletor too. I don't know about play. I might stage it.
Okay.
Might do some staging, some action.
Staging
I'm in
is-
favor of staging.
Staging is a form of, yeah, I can see Jeanette. I like your staging.
Might have He-Man go down on the Dark Sorceress because he's a hero.
Because he's a hero, and that's what heroes do.
That's what heroes do.
I still have all of my She-Ras. They're beat to hell, but they're in a box down in the basement. I saved them and I refuse to get rid of
I
them.
don't have any. I have
I one Christmas, it was my best Christmas ever. I woke up and I just had package after package, and they were just all of the She-Ra action figures. It was Perfuma, it was Flutterina,
funny.
it was Glimmer, it was Catra. It was all of them, and I had the glass Swiftwind, and I didn't have the Crystal Castle, which I wanted so badly, and I didn't get any of my He-Man characters either. I only got She-Ra.
So here's the thing, like
I was still really excited.
there's two big gifts when I was like under 8 years old that I got from my grandparents who died a few years back. One was a Cabbage Patch doll when I was very young, which at the time was unheard of. They were ridiculously popular. You know, the straight Garbage Pail Kids, the normal Garbage Pail Kids. And then secondly was Castle Grayskull. So like the fact that she got it for me was like a throwback to something that was like really special from my youth. So I really appreciate it.
nice.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I think it's fantastic. I always think it's great if you have a relation. It's one of the things I love about you and Mrs. K so much is you guys both support all of your creative ventures with each other and the things that you love. Oh, Mrs. K says she's nice sometimes in the chat. Mrs. K, you're a good lady. I love you. You are an incredibly supportive wife of Kai and friend. Incredibly so. But I mean, that's what people who love each other do.
Absolutely.
Like, I have all this nerdy crap in my room here because Mike says that's what you like, so you should do it. He
That's
has
right.
a purple room with a green ceiling because I think he should do it. Makes him happy.
So-
But it's really wonderful.
So Heather texted me today and she says, "What's our topic tonight?" And I said, "We have a guest. We don't need one." And Kai's always right. So it's funny. We had a belly dancer on who's a huge Star Wars fan, and we're an hour in, and hour 7. I don't think we've discussed any of those things.
Okay, so here's the
We
thing with
mentioned
that.
them both offhand.
What's that?
It's
We mentioned both of them offhand.
yes.
Yeah, but I want to
Yes.
dive into those things.
Well, we
Those are
always
interesting
can.
things.
We always can. But it's always good to have something to focus on or like just some kind of backup game or something just in case. Because if you don't, yes. Oh, you guys. So everyone that's in the chat, I put on all the promos today that she swings those and uses them while she's belly dancing. And it's amazing. And I'm just, it's one of those things I've always wanted to be able to do.
See,
and
this
I
is
love
shitty thing
watching
about
you do it.
this
It's
shitty
on
thing
her
about
head. She's balancing it on her head.
this
Look
is
at that.
this shitty thing about not having a second monitor is I didn't even realize she was balancing a knife on her head.
It's so wonderful. It's delightful.
I have
She's a badass, guys.
links to performances if you want to see it in actual use. This is my single one, but when I do double sword, I have smaller swords that are easier to fit next to one another. This one is sizable and heavy, which honestly, the reality is the heavier it is, the easier it is to balance because then it sits there better. So I do have kind of a groove in my head from doing this for so long. So
That must help
It
with doing
does.
this.
it does stay pretty good. Yeah.
How long have you been doing this for?
I started belly dancing in late 2006. I started taking classes. My friend Crystal and my friend Helena, this is my running crew. So when I do stuff, it's with them. Crystal contacted us and was like, "Hey, you guys want to go see the Breakfast Club rock opera?"
Yes.
And we were like, "Yes,
That's the correct
of
answer.
course. Well, why would you even ask?" It was terrible. But the like halftime entertainment was a couple of belly dancers who were plus size ladies, and Crystal was like, maybe we should take up belly dancing, and I was like, if you find a class, I'll go with you. Thinking she's not gonna find a class, that's ridiculous. She found a class, and we started going, and then I just never stopped. And so, yeah, started fall of 2006, and then started classes for a few years. Joined a student troupe in, I don't know, 2010 or something. Actually, probably earlier than that, and then became the professional troupe. We just had our 10-year anniversary.
Oh,
last year, the year before.
congratulations.
So it's been, this will be our 13th year as a pro troupe.
Heather keeps saying you've been all over the world to do this. So like, what are
I
some
have
places
been all
you've
over the world to do this. Yeah, we started doing it, and then Crystal and I started teaching. Like, I assist in her classes, so I do the moves, and then she points and explains. It kind of helps to have the students are able to see it on 2 different body tapes on 2 different people, to hear me explain it one way, Crystal explain it another. So I highly recommend if you want to start taking classes. Crystal has a new session starting tomorrow night, so I'll be sure to share information on how to do that too. But yeah, our troupe. Let's see if I can say this succinctly. Started in a method, a style of belly dance. That's thing number one. When I say a belly dance, do you know there's multiple styles? And most people don't if you're not in the
Nope.
community. So we started in a style that was called ATS, American Tribal Style. It is now called Fat Chance Belly Dance Style. Basically, because we're attempting to, we've heard the people, and so we're trying to drop the word tribal because it doesn't have the right connotations, and so we want to
Good.
make sure we're not causing any undue offense. So we've dropped tribal. It was called American tribal style because it is very American in that it's a kind of an amalgamation of different dances from different places. It pulls influence from a lot of different areas, some cultural dances, some national dances, some completely made up dances, so it was a very much an American style. And so Fat Chance belly dance is the name of the troupe of the woman who invented it or created it or codified it. And so that is what it is now called. And so we teach that. The beauty of FCBD style is that it is all improv. So you don't have to memorize choreography. You learn
It's like
built like
jazz.
a language. It's like
It's belly jazz.
it's a little more codified than jazz.
I don't know what
it's like,
codified means. You said it twice. I was confused the first time, but then you brought it back. So now I feel
codified
stupid.
means like coded. So that's the root of it. Like there are a series of rules, accepted rules throughout the community. So it's like a language or like building with Legos where you learn each move and then how you string them together is how everyone follows you. So we dance in groups. The lead is up to the left. Everyone else follows the lead. Rotate. Next person leads. You follow that person. So you can see the same troupe 100 times in performance and it's going to be different every time because it's all improv. We make it up every time. So
but one of the rules is not there is no rules.
Correct.
Damn
because
it.
it's not best of the best too.
So it's.
You're welcome.
I love you, Jeanette.
You're welcome. Wayne Newton.
I love you, Jeanette.
So my troupe then, we are unique in that number one, there's a huge amount of people, and we're 9 people right now. At one time we were 13. So we have a large troupe. We also have a lot of creative women. We're all we have full-time jobs, and then this is what we do together. And so my troupe director Beth is very creative and so has come up with a lot of new moves. And so we were featured on one of the instructional DVDs out of Fat Chance Belly Dance Volume 9 with some of the moves we invented. And so as a result of that, we continue to create, continue to initialize more new moves, create our own technique. We now have TTT, Tamarind Troupe Transformations, which are moves that we have created and shared with the world. And so in order to share those, a lot of troops in a lot of different countries, a lot of different places would hire Beth to come in and teach, because the beauty of the style that we do is as long as you know those core moves, you can dance with anyone from anywhere. So we have giant events, workshops, retreats, conferences, basically a weekend of workshops in a hotel someplace.
You're a cult.
Exactly. People can come from wherever, and we have open dances, and I can dance with someone who I might not be able to speak their language, but we know the same style of dance, so I can dance with them.
That's wonderful.
Really, yeah, that's what I love about it. That's one of the things. The second thing that I love about it is that I find it to be incredibly empowering. That's why I teach it. It is the majority of the moves in the core of it were kind of based on the way a woman's body naturally moves a lot. It's very empowering. It's very upright. It's very strong. It's very covered. We tend to wear a lot of clothing. The only thing that's exposed is our belly. Like we're wearing pants plus 2 skirts plus 2 or 3 different tops plus all kinds of, so I feel very comfortable in doing it. I feel empowered in doing it. It is joyful. It teaches you to love the body you're given. A lot of styles of dance can be very like, no, you can't do this with that shape.
Can I ask a question seriously along those lines? Not like, and this is not about like body shaming in any way or anything like that. I almost feel like a ripped 6-packed, really fit person would have a harder time doing like a really accentuated belly dance as opposed to someone that's got a little bit of weight on them. Is that accurate or no?
I think if let me see how to say this. It works on everybody. You adjust it to your body. However, a little bit of cushion does make it a little more sensual because you have more to roll and move and accentuate the movements. So that's kind of my opinion, but it can look good on everybody. There's a lot of isolations in it. So if you are more naturally lean, then you can see some of the individual muscle movements a little bit differently. I am a little more round. So a lot of the movements on me look a little bit different than they would on some other people, but that's also the beauty of it. You can put 5 women together who are all different body shapes, and they're all going to be doing the same movements in a different way, personalized way, but they're going to be unified as a troupe on the stage, and it looks amazing. And it is really, really become a passion for me to share it with everyone. What it has done for me is allowed me to love myself, which is something that I did not have when I was growing up. Never, like, when I started belly dancing, I got an inch taller because I actually was standing up.
That's
right?
awesome.
holding my head up, as opposed to being so self-conscious. And I tended to like crouch and hunch, and especially if you're naturally well endowed in the front, you tend to hunch and try to hide. And so finally being able to do something where it's like, no, you deserve to be seen, which again, as women, when we're growing up, you don't often get to feel that way or hear that. And so I think that I went to a high school reunion thing where someone was like, wow, you're so different now. And I'm like, yeah, this is the person I was always meant to be. But I was afraid, or had been beaten down, or had not been encouraged, or had, you name it, all the stuff that society does to women of color in particular, to as a light-skinned biracial woman, there's a whole bunch of stuff on piles there that, so this dance has really allowed me to love me. Finally, at 45, I can say to you, I love me. I love my body. Never been able to say that before.
That's
so
awesome.
It is incredible. So I will constantly preach, take an FCBD class if you can. Take
think you
it with
just sold
us.
it.
We teach via Zoom.
100%.
Crystal's starting a new session tomorrow. Please take with us. We have a group of students who kind of started as a cohort together and are now kind of up in our higher level class. And one of them is she started with us when she was like 15. If I had this when I was 15, what it would have done for me. Oh my God. But I'm grateful I have it now, So
and
yeah.
You can teach that to other 15-year-olds there, and you
that
can
is
be
why,
that guide for them.
That is why we teach. That's why we teach it. I love performing. It's a blast. I love teaching, because when you see that in a student who is a woman, we teach men too, but honestly, with women, you see it more often, where it's just like, oh my God, they're standing up taller. Oh my God, they're speaking up more. Oh my God, I can see how much they love this song. Look at them move to it. Yeah, this is, oh my God, it's incredible. I'm so happy to be involved in this.
You're getting a ton of hearts in the chat. You also got my daughter Lovey said, I love how you speak about this subject. Oh my God. Tapeworm threw a middle finger. I don't know why.
I think he just showed up. That's kind of what he does. Usually
it's really good timing. I'm gonna
Perfect
pretend he
timing.
was throwing devil horns and then just picked the wrong emoji. How about that? The wrong emote.
But also, I think that's a sign of support from Tapeworm.
See, right when you start feeling good about yourself, some man's got to come in and throw a middle finger for no fucking reason.
Come on.
Make you feel like a piece of shit.
What I love everything that you said, and all of that, you have an outer glow around you that kind of just is tangible anyway, and I get that from you, even just talking to you all the time on different shows. But what I like that you said the most was, and I've kind of just started to come into this myself in the last few years, is you finally feel like you're starting to become the person you were always intended to be.
Always been meant to be.
And better at 45 than never.
Exactly.
Or 55
Honestly?
or 65. Yeah, for sure.
100%.
I look at that.
I'm grateful. So
I look at that when I look at my young people and younger people, and when I think about the struggles that they're going through trying to figure things out, and I'm like, man, you know what? Remember where I was at that time in my life,
right.
and how lost I was, and how awkward I was in the place I was at because I didn't feel like I belonged there, and just give them time to find their own path and to find their place too.
And then for them as well, having patience to know, like, eventually you're gonna figure out who you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Eventually you're gonna get there.
It's always good to have something, like you found belly dancing for you. For me, it was the long distance running. It's, and then having a guide or a mentor, and then
yes.
And I mean, I was joking at the beginning of the show, but it's the same thing now, where
yeah.
It's not a lack of care that I don't wear makeup anymore, and I haven't dyed my hair in a couple of years, and I'm letting all the gray come in. It's just because I don't do the tanning that I used to do when I worked at the bars when I was younger. I still like to put on makeup and get pretty and have fun sometimes.
Same.
But
because
I'm really,
you want to.
Because I want to.
Not because it's an
Exactly.
expectation of someone else. I think that's a huge portion of it too now, is that
Yes.
I finally can, without attempting to do it for someone else, do it for me. I told you I put on eyeliner before doing this because I wanted to do it for me. I like the way it looks. I wanted to do it. That's what it comes down to, and it takes some time to do that. But yeah, and It's also, I should add, because I'm always impressed by your running. I follow it's very impressive, and you kind of inspired me. I had a troop mate suggest yoga, but you also are a huge influence on like maintaining the yoga, doing that. But belly dance is a great way to maintain. It's kind of low impact cardio work, or an athletic thing, because yes, we should all be working out. You have to find the exercise that you enjoy doing, and that can be rough. But belly dance is a great way to kind of keep in shape. It's great for your core. It's excellent for your posture. It's great for your hips.
Or
and
another
knees.
thing along the
age.
lines of getting older.
Yes.
Moving and flowing might be easier than pushing and lifting.
Exactly.
My grandma, she was a badass. She was raised in a pretty strict Catholic home, and then she had a Catholic family of her own, and she did things she wasn't supposed to do, like she wore wigs, and she went and got a job when the women at home didn't get jobs.
Oh, women can't work. That's ridiculous.
This was back in the day, Kai, but she did all these things, and she was kind of one of my inspirations for doing all of the things that I wanted to do when I was a kid. She always said, just because you're a girl doesn't mean you can't do the stuff. Do the stuff the boys do. I do too.
Yeah.
But when she was in her, I think 60s, she took lots of dance classes and stuff over the years and did things, but I think she was in her 60s when she said, I've always wanted to learn how to belly dance. And she did it for like 2 years, and she she even did a stage performance. I drove out and saw her. It was wonderful.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah,
and she was in her 60s,
it.
And she had her belly out, and she had
man.
little love, and she looked beautiful, and mostly she looked happy. And then all the other women too were older women. It was great. It made me so happy.
Yeah, it's so good. We see that a lot in our community. It's very, very welcoming. You can do it at any age. It's great for you. I highly recommend it. It's so much fun. I'm just really grateful I stumbled into it like I did.
I think it's really important. I always tell my kids, like, whatever you're about, be about it. Like, don't be a poser. Don't be like we have rules in our house. Like, if you want to wear a band T-shirt, you be able to name 5 songs or 3 albums. Like, you're not just gonna rock the shirt and just go be this thing you're not. So I was even thinking about this the other day. We had Liam on. He came on and did his whole anime spiel the other day, which I think is amazing. And I was like playing with him the whole time because I don't know anything about anime, and we are doing a show. But at some point during the show, he just said, "I'm stupid." And I'm like, "Don't fucking say that about yourself." I don't like any of that. I know Heather's got 2 kids. They're both fantastic. One is like going through a huge thing right now. Is one of the most bravest people I know. I've got a daughter is the most amazing thing in the world, and she's full of anxiety, and I can't wait for her. And she has that thing she's passionate about, So, and she is beautifully inside. I'm waiting for these kids to find that kind of what you found, which is that release of a lot of these things, that thing where I accept this is the person I am. This is who I am. I'm not like confined to all this bullshit around me. Yes. I'm happy being who I am.
Yep.
And it's okay that maybe I don't like belly dance. A lot of people don't. It makes you feel good, and you have a community around you and support.
Absolutely.
And we still find it amazing. I'm not like knocking it at all, but like you're following your passion. I think that's the key, and not caring what everybody cares about.
Find what makes you happy, and then really, pour everything into it and do it. It's
I think
I sell cartoons at 43.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Kai,
It's amazing.
I think you were talking about this before in some form, and it was in regards to art, but I think it's fair with anything is you want to create something or do something, and you think, well, there's not a space for me here, and there's already somebody who does this better, blah, blah, blah. And then he said, but at some point you realize there's a space for all of us and everything we do.
Yeah, that's the beauty
of
the art.
I don't have to compare myself to them or them to me. We can all be here and coexist and do our own thing and be supportive and encouraging of each other.
It's just like in baseball, like
100%.
saying you can't have a sidearm pitcher, you can't have a left-hand pitcher. Like, that's not true. There's always going to be developments and growth in sports and arts and things that are different. And look, I came in this shit just going, I could do better than most of these dudes. I know I'm not as good as these dudes, but I'm going to put my shit out there so it's going to speak to somebody. I got to
100%.
do officially Lights movie merchandise. I got to do an album for someone. It's a really big
amazing.
accomplishments within like a couple years' time.
He also made me a cartoon ninja, Jeanette.
I also drew her as a ninja, which she waited her whole life for. So
the thing I'm still most excited about.
The bottom line is passion, right? Finding your passion and being able to allow yourself to love it and not care what people say, or not be afraid of being judged for it. So I think is
Yeah,
you did ask where we had traveled, and we have been most places in the U.S. A lot of local festivals here in Milwaukee. We've done Chicago, Kansas City, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. I've danced in Los Angeles. We've done San Francisco. We did San Diego. We did Seattle. My teacher has done New York a couple of times. We did Paris. We did an event in Paris, France. We did an event in 2 different events in Germany, which who thought I would ever go to Germany? And then China. We've danced in China. So again, who thought when I picked this up, like at some point I'll be performing in China?
Do you ever wonder that day when she's like, we should do belly dancing? You're like, all right, find a class. What if she had said, let's start a street gang that sells crack? Would you been like, all right, give me some information? Do you think it was just lucky that she happened to pick something you ended up liking?
She's a quality person with.
What if she's like, you know what? Let's take up, I don't know, frisbee golf. And like today, you're like #1 frisbee golfer in the world.
I would have been an awesome frisbee golf person. I will tell you, I don't get frisbee golf. I don't
either.
Those are pivotal moments in someone's lives.
Thing.
It's a sliding doors question, right? It's a sliding doors question.
Yes, maybe.
Who knows? Maybe in an alternate timeline.
If we had done something different, would Gwyneth Paltrow not have started Goop?
It's
God,
it's being open to saying yes to things that you might be
that scare you.
Yeah, that make you uncomfortable, that might be scary. I think at some point in my life, I think around like 10, maybe 11 years ago, I finally just said, I'm going to start saying yes, which also years later had to be counteracted by, I have to learn how to start saying no now.
Right? Yeah. No.
And then you learn about boundaries. Then you learn about healthy boundaries.
Boundaries have been my favorite thing of the last like 3 or 4 years. Boundaries are beautiful. But
it is. I found it at the right time. It made a huge difference for me. I had a radical hysterectomy in the fall of 2019, and my doctor said to me, like, after 4 weeks, you're fine, go back, no limitations, your core muscles are very strong. And I'm like, but okay.
Also, radical. I'm from California, so radical is in like radical,
totally
or radical is in like like
Ninja Turtles.
Radical is in they took everything.
Oh, so it was gnarly. So it was gnarly. I'm sorry, you don't speak
huge,
California. It was a
huge
gnarly
undergoing.
hysterectomy.
Yeah, it took everything because the one ovary I had left, because I had surgery 10 years ago to remove the first ovary that was causing problems. Grapefruit-sized cyst.
Those are fun on your insides.
So just had that removed, and then because I had severe endometriosis too, just severe, to the point where the amount of ibuprofen I was taking daily was out of control. It was nonsense. And so I tend to speak very candidly about like, hey, if you have what they refer to as, you just have bad periods, get that shit checked out. And if the first doctor just says bad periods, find another doctor and another doctor until someone's like, you might have endometriosis. And then please take action to get that solved. Don't let it go as long as I did until you have to have the hysterectomy where they take everything. Which, oh my God, I'm so much happier. I wish I had done it sooner. So, but because the problem was the ovaries. The one I had left was still creating cysts. And then she was like, well, if I'm going to take your uterus and this ovary is still causing problems, I'm going to get rid of that too. And then if I leave your cervix in there, then you're still at risk for cervical cancer. So I'm going to take everything. And I was like, yeah, please. It's not doing me any favors. It stopped working when I first got diagnosed. So yeah. Yeah.
That is radical though.
Yeah.
And not in the California way.
Totally radical, dude.
It's gnarly.
I'm glad that you ended up having a positive outcome at the end of that. I've actually, over the last few years, heard a lot of female friends of mine that have been discovering that they've had that too and have not known about it for years.
So many women have it and don't know. Crazy. Because I don't know about you, but I'm trained not to talk about it. Don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it. Pretend it doesn't happen.
I make sure I talk about it around all the danglers that I know.
Right. I tend to talk about it a lot because I was at the point like, look, there are 4 days a month when I'm not bleeding. Clearly something is wrong.
That's weird.
Right? So yeah, that's
affecting your quality of life.
Girl, yes.
It's supposed to be like the exact opposite of that.
It is supposed to be the exact opposite.
Based on my research.
Based on your research. Yes. Once I had the procedure was done and was back on. Oh, and of course, then we can go into the whole how there's 72 different medications for erectile dysfunction and one for the multiple different issues women have, and it was birth control pills. Now we're starting to see more and more, finally. But like at the time, get on the pill, and okay, I'm on the pill. Didn't realize the havoc that was wreaking through my mental health until I wasn't on it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to be feeling all the time? What the hell?
Yeah.
So yeah, that too.
By the way,
so that's another thing I'm passionate about.
I'm fine putting the boner scientist on other work at this point.
Right?
Yeah. Like, we still got cancer. Like, cure me of cancer and I'll take a limp one. That's fine.
ED is more important. And that's also covered by a lot of insurance
yes,
companies. Where birth control is not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited that you support the boner company doing other things. Kai,
Yeah,
thank
let's
you
just
very
go to
much
Canada. Fuck this
Well,
place.
and listen, those dudes are clearly geniuses.
Yeah.
Surely there's other topics
if you
they
could
can
fix
tackle.
a dick, which literally must be broken, because when it's working, anything, wind will make it work. The correct amount of wind in the right location will make it work.
So,
Those guys are geniuses. Get them working on something that's important.
see, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Why haven't they cured if they would just put their mind to it?
Oh, I'm sure they've cured it. There's a lot more money in treatment than there is in
This is
cure.
why our parents' generation didn't make cool shit. Because this is where their heads were at. Let's just make boner pills and hate our children.
So see, there you go. Now we've done an exhaustive deep dive on the belly dance.
Yeah.
And then yes, I highly recommend if you want to start taking Crystal's new session of classes starts tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Thursdays. Nope, 5:30 p.m. level 1, brand new session. I'm a little later because I have to work until 5:30, so I get there like halfway through. But we do it via Zoom. So wherever you are,
Do any guys do this?
Classes. Yes, absolutely, guys do it.
Okay, I got a belly.
I think it would be nice. Actually, I think it would be really good. I've tried to encourage Mike to do yoga. I think the problem with a lot of people with this too, and I think the good thing about doing Zoom, and I think this has been good with yoga and probably with dance and other things too, are people that are afraid of what they're going to look like in class.
Yes.
That they're not going to be able to do it well, and it's going to be embarrassing.
Yep.
That at least from home,
Take it via Zoom.
Yep.
If you don't, if you're turn your camera off. We don't have to look at you. You just watch what we're doing.
Yep.
Do your best when you start
Can I
to feel
pay
like,
extra to
hey.
make you watch me? To forget the rest of the class and just stare at me.
Kai, I would pay to watch you belly dance. I really would. I think you and I should
That's
do
a separate
one
setup
of,
I got going on the side camera.
I think I really now
Side
want
hustle.
for us to do a class together. I think it would be really great.
No.
I think it would be a good co-host bonding moment.
Oh,
Nope.
it'd be kind of fun.
See, middle-aged old man says done.
There you go.
I'll just do
That's what
corpse
you need.
pose for an hour. Yes.
That's my
Corpse-
favorite.
You want to know what's funny though? When I started doing it, like for me, the biggest challenge in yoga was actually sitting still with my own thoughts. It was really, really hard. I just wanted to go in, and that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm gonna kill this stuff. I'm athletic. I can do all this. I was still
I can
in
hit
like,
these poses.
yeah, I can hold it.
Yeah.
I got thighs of thunder thighs.
I listen to
Power.
Madonna.
Yeah. No.
The working on it, the sitting and the breathing and controlling the breath,
It
and
was
focusing and posture and yes.
Oh, you
am
gotta do all
in
that
your
shit
own
too?
head.
You're not just
Yeah.
That's
contorting
the
your
part-
body with a cat?
That's actually the big.
Not
That's
yet.
why I don't notice that the cat's there, Kai.
See, I
to
don't
be
get all
honest.
this from the pictures. I only get the cat annoying you while you're in really painful
He's not
looking
annoying
poses.
me. I don't notice that he's there most of the time.
I just
I
assume
do
he's
it.
annoying you because it would annoy the shit out of me if he was doing
Based
that.
on after watching Heather's videos, that's why I did record a hyperlapse of me doing a 45-minute one, just seeing. I was like, I wonder how it looks when I do it, because honestly, without the option of doing it at home by myself via YouTube, I would not. I was far too intimidated to go to a public yoga class, and so having done it for more than a year now, I feel like I could go to a public class. But yeah, after watching, I did a hyperlapse. I mean, I was like, hey, I am hitting all those poses.
You are, and actually, it's really good after too, because I can look back and go, "Oh, I thought I was doing this, and I wasn't." And I can work on some of my posture in certain poses, and then I'll just shift just slightly, and I'll go, "Oh my goodness, this is changing everything for me."
Yeah.
You had one
wonderful.
like today or yesterday that looked fine and great, and I was like, oh, that looks like a good stretch. And then I saw where your other leg was, which I didn't catch at the first glance, and I'm like,
Pigeon.
oh
It was the pigeon picture.
my fucking hip won't do that.
No, they don't, and that's the thing.
They
That's
don't
the
when you
thing.
start.
No,
I don't
no,
know they
and
will
I'm
when I
just
end.
getting there. You know what's really great are these yin ones, and it's basically you're holding poses for 5 to 6 minutes long, and you're just breathing, and you're just sitting there, and you're like right. And this is the thing where it kind of for me connects like on the edge of long distance running, where you're pushing yourself just to that edge, but you're stopping there, and you reach this place of just enough discomfort to kind of only be present in what's happening in that exact moment, and you have to focus on nothing but that. And
doesn't Adrian say that meet your appropriate edge?
Yes.
Meet your appropriate edge. Yeah.
Adrian is so wonderful too.
Then
She's the one who taught me how to breathe.
Yes.
I can breathe now.
Yep.
So you find your center and you realize no one else matters. You pop your boner pill and you yell America.
Fuck yeah.
With a U. Yes, thank you.
Magical.
Boner pills.
Boner pills. Like, this has been a wonderful, beautiful conversation, and then I'm probably gonna hashtag boner pills on this.
Bonky dolls.
Bonky dolls. That is Heather's coin phrase from now on. On Sunday, instead
Heather's
of donkey balls,
bonky
I said
dolls.
bonky dolls.
Well, hey, I like that. That's better.
I like it
I
too.
do.
Yeah.
After I said it, I went to correct myself. I'm like, no.
Makes me
nope,
think of
I'm
a
keeping it.
fucking video game for some reason. I think of Donkey Kong. I mean, if she said Donkey Balls, I wouldn't think of Donkey Kong. But when she says Bonky Dolls, I think of Donkey Kong, and I don't know why.
Because
Well,
it feels
that's-
right.
Yeah, that's. I feel like that's logical.
And I can sing it to the Mario song, like Bonky Dolls, Bonky Dolls, ba 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 bong, ba 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 bunky. Anyway, this has been a lovely hour. Jeanette, will you come back on when I'm not in a bad mood?
Anytime, whenever you want. Even when you're in a bad mood, Kai, you're fine.
I'm not
Listen,
usually in a bad mood.
We've all been there. I know how hot it is out there. My brother lives in LA.
It's really
and
hot.
So he always keeps me informed about the weather. I'm typically, I visit him once a year. I go out every May and hang out at Universal Studios and the LA Zoo and the Long Beach Aquarium. Those are my favorite places to go.
Oh, yeah.
This May I didn't go because it was still a little pandemic-y, and I was like, I'm not sure about their
Super
opening up
pandemic-y.
yet. So I rescheduled it for my birthday. Like,
The funny thing is, everything I've heard about the zoo and the aquarium is people, they're like, it's not bad until people want to look over you to look at the thing. And then you're
Yeah.
like, pandemic, bro.
yeah, and that's just it. So I figured I would wait, because all the stuff I want to do would be in public places. And I was like, yeah. So I rescheduled it for October. I'm going to go out. My game plan is to go to Disney for my birthday. For my 45th birthday, I want to go to the new Avengers campus, take a picture with new Captain America. What? Yes.
Sling some webs?
And then also to Galaxy's Edge and take a picture in front of the Millennium Falcon.
Already
That's
done
gonna
it.
be it for me.
Already
And
done it.
spend $200 to get a whole lightsaber made in the thing.
Nah.
Why not? It's my birthday.
Because you know what you can do? You can actually use that lightsaber because you know how to use swords.
What do I... Jeanette,
To be fair, I dance with them. I don't know that I'd be effective in a fight.
Listen, there is a certain skill
Please
set
don't
there
challenge me to a
that
sword fight. No.
you would slay me in a sword fight. That's one of the things that I'm looking forward to doing in the next couple of years. Is I do want to start
Let me
I want to learn how to throw knives, and I want to start doing some.
Well,
things.
you've got the knives. Let me show
I
you.
have the knives, but I want to be able to throw them. I want to be able to
Throwing
throw axes like Jason Momoa.
So, Jeanette, would you be able to come on in like 2 or 3 weeks again on like a Wednesday night, so we can do the
Yeah.
Star Wars discussion we need to have?
Oh yeah, sorry. I was prepared.
I know. Look at that background.
We're always prepared.
So
You guys, just so you know,
Yeah,
hold on. I just have
sure.
to tell everyone because I tell everyone about you all the time. She has a Thrawn tattoo. You guys, this is one
Oh,
of the first
you know
things I
what?
learned about her.
Yeah, and I'm not wearing shorts. But if we
Yes.
reschedule, then I will make sure to have shorts on so that I can show everyone.
And
Because
I've got
my
a-
thigh wrap is this is my thigh wrap.
Yeah.
It's multiple characters. It started like I went in to get a Darth Maul tattoo, and then I was like, what would look really cool? And my tattoo guy was actually like, yeah. So then we mocked up everything, and so this is the longest I've gone without getting work done.
Yeah, totally.
Without getting a tattoo in so long. I actually was thinking about calling him today, and like, because it's right now it's 7 different characters wrapped around my thigh, and it's
Nice.
just the characters, and so he's been talking about like putting a background on it. We went out to Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim the last time I was in Anaheim, and he and I happened to go out
Oh,
together.
you need to call a
on-
brother when you're here.
Well, I know next time I will, October. And he used me as a like visual card. Like he went over to where they were doing the tattoos at Celebration, was like, this is what I've done, and I had to like stand there, and he would like use my leg. So I was like, see, you got to travel with your tattoo artist. That's the way to do it.
That's awesome. I've actually got a Star Wars half sleeve too, so we can get more into that Star Wars tattoo. I'll show you a couple things
Okay, yes.
real quick before we go. Here is a sprite when you go to Galaxy's Edge. Looks like a little
It's a droid.
grenade. No, it actually looks like a
a
little
grenade.
bomb. And this is your
Looks like both.
Batu and Spira. This is your currency if you buy it.
Okay.
you get to keep the currency. It's like a gift card, but you keep the currency. The funny thing is, it's all immersive in Galaxy's Edge, which we can talk about all this. Like you left Disneyland. You're not at Disneyland. You're in another planet. It's really weird because you can't buy alcohol anywhere but there. It's just super weird, but we can.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's talk about this in a few weeks. Let's have you back.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
Wednesday nights are good for me. You know where to find me on your socials, guys.
Yes, on the socials.
Pew, pew,
She's
pew.
J Ward, JY Ward, Jeanette
Sometimes
Ward.
a dot, sometimes underscored.
Listen, that's where I'm at.
I'll tell you what, Jeanette, send it to me, and when we put this on the YouTube, I'll make sure it has all of them.
Okay, yeah.
On the
I can do that.
YouTube.
On the YouTube.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
also on the
We're twitching.
YouTube.
We're twitching.
You can find me on the YouTube. It's a bunch of dance videos. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I put some of them in the chat in case you guys were interested in seeing like what I'm talking about. So I did put links to some videos, 2 solos of me and then 1 of the troupe. So
Awesome. We love you much.
Should
Thank you for
look at
coming on.
one.
Heather, who are we rating tonight?
Well, let's see here. What are you guys looking for? We've got Cameron's on tonight.
Thanks for lurking, Sebastian. Or not Sebastian. Jesus, Thaddeus. I always say Sebastian to Thaddeus
Just
and
don't
Thaddeus
say
to
his
Sebastian.
name. He's incognito when he's on the Twitch.
Oh, I meant the 4 times.
I actually went and checked him out gaming the other day. It was pretty.
I did too.
Artemis, the Outer Worlds. I don't know what that is, but apparently we
Ninja
followed
Gaiden?
him.
Ninja Gaiden?
We could go to Cameron if you guys would like to
Go to
see
Cameron! Tell
Let's
me.
go to Cameron.
Tell me he's an
guys.
asshole. He's
Oh, he's
dead to us.
drawing right now too. That's
Sounds
lovely.
horrible.
We're going to go to Cameron. We're going to go see him. We're going to have a go at his art.
Tell
He's
him
going
Kai sent you to
enjoy
see how the
him
amateurs draw.
as much as everybody. Love you all. Thank you for coming. Good day.
Bye.
Tip your
I
waitress.
think. Let's see. Did I press the right button? I never believe.